Sofiya Ballin is an award-winning journalist, writer, and producer forging new roads in digital journalism. She is the creator of the award-winning Black History Untold project, an identity series that explores the importance of a comprehensive Black history through powerful and personal interviews. Sofiya, welcome to the Color Conversation. How are you?
I'm well. Thank you so much for having me.
Great. Thank you for participating. When we first got your email and I saw the title, I'm like, oh, this is perfect for our Black Love Meets Black History Film Festival. This is perfect. Just on the title alone, I'm like, yeah, send it.
Thank you so much. A friend sent it to me, and when I looked at the post, I think you put a post out on Instagram, I was like, sounds like it was made for this installment of the project. Like it was made for it. I was like, I have to submit. So thank you so much for even taking the time to review. I'm so appreciative.
Yeah, absolutely. So tell the people about what's it called? It's called Black
History Untold.
History Untold. Love.
Black
History Untold Love. Okay. Tell the people about Black History Untold Love.
So it's entitled, Black History Untold: Love. Black History Untold itself is a project. It's an annual series that I produce. I started it in 2016 at the Philadelphia Inquirer, and then it was mostly just portraits and essays. I left the Philadelphia Inquirer to produce it independently. I wanted the project to be Black owned and Black run, and it's evolved into a film project, right? Like my traditional background is written journalism. So it's been such a move for me. But last year we premiered Black History Untold: Love. Every year we do a different theme where we explore untold Black histories through interviews with Black people, right? And last year the theme was love. And the reason why I chose that as the theme was the year before, 2020, we had seen kind of the global mobilization around, George Floyd, the killing and death of George Floyd and Ahmaud Arbery and Breonna Taylor, right? And that year I had released a Revolution series, which kind of seemed like it was very, I'm trying to find the right word. It's almost like it predicted what would have happened that spring and summer. It was very timely. But after that time period, that spring, I know especially for Black people, it was very hard mentally, at least for me, on my psyche. I remember during that period, I wasn't sleeping. I was just constantly consuming the news. I was constantly tweeting. I was trying to get information out. During that period, people were learning more about the project, especially white people. I'm sure you can relate in some way and saying, how can I support? How can I share this? And saying, wow, I'm learning so much, when we know that, this has been our reality. And I felt like after that spring and that time period, what we needed as a community, in my opinion, was a balm, right? A healing balm. And there's nothing stronger, I think, and more healing than love, to me, at least. And I wanted to find a way to merge this history and sharing this knowledge and information of untold Black histories and talking about love at the same time. So I decided to we interviewed 11 couples for this project. We interviewed 11 couples and 2 individuals because we also wanted to tackle self-love as well. And we asked them to share untold Black love stories in history that impact them and motivate and inspire their own love. And we also learn about their love stories, and we also learn about the untold history at the same time. And we do that in the time frame of about 5 to 6 minute interviews or less. So this series is, a series in itself of vignettes of these couples sharing their love stories and also sharing this powerful and moving history.
2020 is the year that I realized that I made the absolute best decision of my life.
The first day I laid my eyes on her, I said, this is it.
And all of a sudden she looks at us and goes, so when are you two gonna start dating? And I was like, what, girl, what?
And I was like, what? Part of the reason why we're here, why you're here, is because Black people loved each other.
It was an incredibly tense moment, and I probably gripped her hand way too tight. I didn't have to explain why I was so mad. She didn't have to explain why she was so mad. We both knew, and we were automatically there for each other.
Black love is special because Black people do it, and Black people are exceptional people. And whatever we do is exceptional. We love hard, we love deep, we love exceptional. and we are no different.
Standing in the streets in Ferguson where we met, knowing that we were out there not because we hated other people, which is what folks wanted to subscribe to us or prescribe to us, but rather because we loved ourselves. We loved one another. We loved our communities.
We have to start to really understand that Black history is the history of this country. I love California a lot. And if I had a ring today, this would be the moment. I swear, I love her so much. That's that. It's a wrap. I don't know what else to say. Black love rocks.
It's powerful and it's very romantic, of course, because it got the Black love, and I'm sure you're aware we're starting on Valentine's Day, so that's where we got the Black love thing, and then the rest, and it's Black History Month, and that's where the history part. So I call it Black love meets Black history, and again, like I said, you were ground zero. I mean, like, this is perfect. This is perfect.
Perfect match.
Yes, absolutely, perfect match. That's the beauty of social media is you can reach people that you don't even know. So I love the way you had the tapestry in the background. I love that. I love the simplicity of it, and I love the stories. Which story was your favorite?
Ooh, I should have been prepared for that question. People always ask me, and I feel like a parent, like, I love all my babies. I want to speak, I know you mentioned the tapestry, and I want to speak a little bit to my team, because I have to shout out my team. You know, there's a team of 13, and, you know, the folks who work with me on this project, from my DP to my production designer to my production assistant, you know, I'm not paying a bunch of money, right? Like, I had a limited budget, and they do this for the love. And, you know, I went to my production designer with this set idea in mind, and I was prepared to kind of have to compromise things, because, you know, that's kind of how it goes. And she managed to find every single thing that I wanted in the set, and it came out beautifully. And we produced this in the height of COVID, which also, looking back, I'm like, that was kind of wild, which also provided another challenge. So this was really a labor of love, and it was 100% worth it. And I hope that it shows just the quality and the love love that went into this. I don't know if I have a favorite, but I'll definitely speak on some that just I think that people would like to hear, and that I think just stand out to me. You know, I spoke to Remy and Wale Duale, right? Something that's important for me with this project is to always show the diversity within us, that we come from different backgrounds, to make sure we're highlighting people of different ages and belief systems and different educational backgrounds. And Remy and Wale Duale, you know, I put out a casting call for this. They're the parents of a friend of mine. And I thought it was important to kind of make sure to add in that diversity. And they're both Nigerian born people, immigrated here, I think in their like early 20s. And I loved their love story, and their history that they're shared was more so sharing cultural knowledge, right? Talking about Yoruba marriage traditions. I loved the Kindred, the Family Soul. They're a Grammy nominated R&B duo, and they talked about Ashford and Simpson, right? And I learned a lot from that. And I feel don't judge me for not knowing that much about Ashford and Simpson because of my age. But I was like, wow, I didn't know that this couple, you know, wrote all these songs, and also their story of how they met is so beautiful to me. Or even Tamika and Shakim, Tamika and Shakim, they talked about their interview was powerful because they touched on 3 different like couples. They talked about Malcolm X and his wife, and they talked about Emperor Haile Selassie and Empress Mekenen, and you know, people talk about Emperor Haile Selassie, but they don't talk about, you know, his wife who was the queen, right? And so there's just so many different powerful stories, I believe, in this series. So it's very hard for me to choose, and I think that that's a great sign.
Yeah, that is a good sign. And it's 90 minutes, right?
It's an hour and 7 minutes.
So it's a strong 60-minute project. So you mentioned that this is a series. So you did a Revolution was before this. This is Love. And so what you got coming up next?
Yes, so that is, I'm taking a break this year in terms of producing new content, just because, you know, so much, when you watch it, again, I don't think there are words that I have that will do it just due. I think you have to watch it. So much work and love was put into that. I took this year off as a break. So I'm still planning and preparing for next year. As I mentioned, before Love, there was Revolution. Before Revolution, there was Future, where we dived into Afrofuturism. Before Future,
so you did Future too?
Yeah, I did Future. Before Future, there was Joy.
I didn't know. You didn't say that. I thought this was your first foray, and then you mentioned Revolution. I thought that was your first, and now you're telling me there's a whole bunch of stuff.
Yeah. So Revolution was the first real film project.
That was your first real film project.
Real film project. Before that, it was mostly portrait and essays, because I was coming from this written journalism background. That's what I knew. That's what I had access to. I knew I always wanted to do video, but I was like, okay, let me wait until I have the funding to do video. And then I got a grant from Aerie, and I was able, it's a global retailer, Aerie, a brand. I got a grant and I was able to pay a DP, pay an editor, a production designer, sound mixer, all of that. And I'm learning all of this, you know, on the fly.
Yeah.
Completely on the fly.
That's how it goes.
Yeah. So this project has grown. And I think with each installment, you see how it's grown and how it's gotten better and better and better.
So you're saying that the production designer is an evolution for you on this project. That's an evolution for you.
Yeah, the video production as a whole and film is just it's an evolution for me to go from a traditional journalist to now people refer to me as a filmmaker. I'm just like, wow, but that is what I am now.
Yeah, and you are.
Yeah. And I show people the work and they're like, this is beautiful. And then they hear my background and they're like, what? This makes it even more impressive that you're doing this without any real traditional, you know, knowledge.
That's good. That's a good thing.
Thank you. I just kind of went into it and tried. And I have to also thank my team, because they're so talented and because they've been patient with me. That's also why the work looks so great.
So what I'm asking you is, like, on the previous, you said Revolution, Future, and there was one other, Joy?
But yeah, Joy before that.
Okay. Are those 60 minutes?
So the film, it didn't become a film until the Revolution installment. So Joy is portrait and text.
Okay, portrait and text. Okay,
it's not a video. Oh,
it's not a video. I see.
Yeah.
So then you evolved to video.
I evolved to video.
And that was Future.
That was Revolution.
Okay. So when was Future?
Future was my first independent installment. So that was right after I had left the Philadelphia Inquirer. And as you can imagine, my capacity changed, right? Like, I was going from having access to maybe a team of about 20 who are on a salary to now having to, it's just myself, a photographer, and my friend who's a graphic designer.
Got it. Okay.
So I knew I always wanted to do video, but I wasn't able to yet. So I had it in the back of my mind, and I produced the Black Future, where I had people talk about what they want envision their Black future to look like, and who we should pay attention to from the past or the present, because now will be the past, in order to inform that future. And, you know, I always do around 30 people each year. And I interview prominent activists and thought leaders to everyday folks to just show the diversity of perspectives. So this project does a lot of things all at once. I really just want to do my best. I try to do my best to show the full breadth of us with each and every installment.
Okay. Now, what is your background? I know you mentioned journalism. Where'd you go to school?
I went to Temple University for journalism in Philadelphia.
Okay, all right, cool. That is a good school. I know some people that went to Temple as well. Well, I'm really looking forward to. I'm sure you got. Now, where have you screened this project, Black History Untold, anywhere? Like, tell me about that.
So Black History Untold, the Revolution installment, we screened that at the Museum of American Revolution in Philadelphia. That was the premiere. Last year, you know, COVID changed things, so a lot of things became virtual. Last year we screened it with the Penn Museum, and we screened it with the Brooklyn Nets. So the Brooklyn Nets reached out to screen it as well. Black History Untold Love, we screened it with Aerie, the retailer, the global retailer Aerie, and we also screened it with the African American Museum of Philadelphia. So those are all the screenings that we've done for the project. And I want to speak a little bit to just kind of the history behind the project and why I decided to even start it, right? You know, I'm born and raised New York until I was age 14, child of Caribbean immigrant. Mount Vernon, money earning Mount Vernon, New York, child of Jamaican immigrants. And, you know, my father studied Garveyism, you know, that's kind of the tutelage that I'm coming from. So I grew up learning a lot, knowing a lot about not only American history, Black American history, but Caribbean history and African history. And it gave me a certain level of pride and esteem in myself and confidence. Fast forward to when I moved, and I also went to a predominantly Black school in New York where Black history felt like every day. And
which was what?
Say it again?
Which was what? What was it called?
Well, it was a private 7-day Adventist school called Westchester Area School. Shout out to them. I don't think I'd be who I am today if it was for them. Very small.
It's in Westchester.
Yes, New Rochelle.
Yeah. Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, it's in New Rochelle. And I went to that school and it was all Black school. And, you know, when Black History Month came around, it was huge. You know, we had competitions, memorizing inventors.
Oh, wow.
You know, Black people who innovated, and, you know, we singing the Negro National Anthem was commonplace, almost
definitely not one of my favorite songs, but go ahead.
Yeah.
It's got to be the longest song
it's very
on
long.
the planet. Like, there's so many stanzas in that song. This song never ends.
That's what it feels like. As you're saying that, I'm hearing the sing song.
It never ends. I'm like, we're about to sit down. Okay, we gotta
go back for the second round.
Say it again, man. Okay.
Yeah, so, you know, that was my background. And then I moved to Pennsylvania around the high school, and that was a culture shock, you know, and I went to a predominantly white school and there weren't as many Black kids, and the Black kids I was meeting, you know, I was natural my whole life. Suddenly I'm getting made fun of for my natural hair by these, you know, kids. Suddenly I'm hearing them say things and it's okay for the white students to call them N-words. And I'm just like, I don't understand this. I'm like, do you not see who you are? Do you not know that you're a gem walking through these halls? And I realized it was because of the lack of that education and sense of who I am, right? And that was, I always kind of carried that with me. And then once I got into journalism, I remember the first year I started at the Philadelphia Inquirer, Black History Month came around and they came up to me like, hey, you know, we'd love to do like a Black History Month roundup. And I just remember names being thrown out like Martin Luther King and Rosa Parks. And these people are prolific, incredible, deserve all of the, you know, the write-ups and visibility. But also I said, really? I'm like, you know, this is journalism. We're supposed to be coming up with innovative ways to tell stories. We're supposed to come up with new things. And I'm like, Black history, from what I know and how I've been raised and like how I study it, I'm just like, it's so vibrant. It's so beautiful. It's so, you know, Ta-Nehisi Coates did a talk. I went to a talk he did in DC, and he said, you know, we talk about Black history like we're talking about vegetables, when really we should talk about it like it's Lord of the Rings. You know, the things, what's happened. So much of, we create all these movies and films about fictional superheroes. And I'm like, all you got to do is look at Black history, right? Henry Box Brown mailed himself in a box from
we'll be showing an animated film on Henry Box Brown.
Oh, that's beautiful. I want to see that, because that story just stays with me. He mailed himself in a box from the South to the North. Mm-hmm. That is incredible. That's surreal. That is supernatural. And not in the sense that we're not human, but I'm just saying, in the sense that we have a wealth of stories that need to be told.
Absolutely, yeah.
So that first year at the Inquirer, I said, okay, I'll do it their way because I didn't have a better idea. But the next year I came back with Black History Untold. And I said, I want to talk to all Black people from different backgrounds and have them share their untold Black histories that they've learned. Because so much of what we do learn, we're not learning it in schools, we're learning it from our community. And so I felt like there needed to be a way to kind of collect all of these stories.
Great. And then you went to Temple, which is somewhat of a Black school, right? Sort of. Sort of, kind of.
It's changing a bit. It's weird because, you know, it's not an HBCU, but when I went, at least, it has a very large Black population and very tight knit. Yeah. A lot of the people who support me are from Temple, Black students from Temple. They call it Black Temple. Sometimes they call it HBTU.
I see.
Yeah. Not to offend people who go to HBCUs because
it's cool.
you don't want to do that. But Yeah, that school, and also the African American Studies program there is really strong, and I took a lot of courses there, and that inspired me. The professors there have been supportive and are still supportive of this work and try to push it and advocate for me in many ways. So I owe a lot to Temple, and I definitely do.
Good. Well, it's been a pleasure speaking with you. Again, thank you for submitting your film. We love it, and we look forward to screening it. And if you like, you're more than welcome to send me the Revolution or
of course,
whatever else you want to contribute. You're welcome to contribute it for our Black Love Meets Black History virtual event. I'm sure there's plenty of room, since it's virtual. There's plenty of room for good content like yours.
Thank you so much. I will. Thank you so much, Floyd. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. It's been a pleasure speaking with you today.
Thank you. It has.